All right, among other problems, why are Democrats still against a proof of citizenship to vote? You would think. Joining me now to talk about that and some other things, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, chair of the House Judiciary Committee, just after Independence Day weekend. Mr. Chairman, welcome. I don't want to obsess about it, but I mean, what is wrong with having a proof of citizenship? These days, everybody knows about illegal immigration. The Democrats are like deathly opposed to it. Why is that?
I mean, because the left has taken over their party and the left has all kinds of crazy positions. I mean, this is just common sense. But I guess when you don't have a border, when you let in 10 million migrants just come into your country, we shouldn't be surprised that they don't want to have a citizenship requirement, a proof of citizenship requirement when it's time to vote. I mean, that's today's left. I love what Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders said a year ago. She said the divide in America today is normal versus crazy.
Right.
And you can that's so true. This is a crazy policy that the left supports that now unfortunately controls the Democrat Party. We're for common sense. We're for regular things. We're for normal things like, oh, you have to be a citizen to vote, particularly in a federal election. It makes no sense why they take the other position, but they do.
Well, let's move on from the ridiculous to the sublime. Now, all weekend long, Mr. Biden, in these various interviews and so forth, and his statements, refuses to take some kind of neurological cognitive test. He says he takes one every day, which isn't true. Donald Trump has taken a couple of these tests. He's willing to take another one. Why won't Biden take one? I mean, you would think with this flap that he would want to put that to rest and take one.
Yeah, you would think he would, so he could, put out the results from it. I don't think it's needed for the country. I don't think any cognitive test is needed for us, the citizens, to understand what's going on. We saw it all front and center a week ago Thursday. So, I mean, I think again, the country has common sense, and what was it? I think 60 million people, whatever the number was that watched, they all saw it. Democrats are admitting what everyone saw, even though just the day before they were talking about cheap fakes and all kinds of other things that made no sense. So I don't know that we need one. I think the country's figured it out. But you would think the president, in fact, would take one to give the results just like President Trump did.
Well, all right. I still think, as I said in my opening riff, you may not have heard it, but the fact is, I think the biggest story out today is not the Biden follies. He's not going anyplace. I don't believe it anyway. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't think so. But I think the big story here is just about 90 minutes ago, Jim Jordan, the Republican National Committee put out Donald Trump's platform for the convention. They put it out a week ahead of time, which is unusual. It's short, it's to the point, it's about economic growth and tax cuts, it's about energy dominance, it's about America first overseas. I mean, to me, this is the headline, because this is why Trump has a lead in the polls, and this is why he's putting together a working class coalition.
Yeah, it's the common sense policies that worked just a few years ago when you were in the White House helping President Trump, when we had economic growth across all demographics in our population, when we had a common sense energy policy and it made it energy dependent, when we had a commander-in-chief who projected strength to our adversaries and to our allies around the world versus what we have now in Joe Biden. I think this campaign is really pretty basic. I mean, in 3 years and 3.5 years, we went from a secure border to no border. We went from safe streets to record crime. We went from $2 gas to $4 gas. We went from stable prices to record inflation. I think most Americans want to go back to the great policies we had under President Trump when he was truly making America great again. And maybe most importantly, we had a commander-in-chief who projected strength on the world stage versus Joe Biden. And the final thing I would throw in is, we had a government that these agencies actually worked for we the people instead of being weaponized against the taxpayers that they're supposed to serve. That's the campaign. And oh, by the way, we saw last Thursday how great President Trump did in that debate. That to me that's what the American people see, and it's why President Trump is up in every single swing state poll.
Well, besides that, all that stuff, think about regulation. The Supreme Court just passed a very important decision which says to the regulatory agencies, stop thinking you're God. Stop thinking you run the country. No, Congress runs the country. The executive runs the country. You're not a fourth branch of government, which is what Donald Trump has been saying for years. And Trump, by the way, it's all in here. He wants to cut taxes. All right, he wants to rebuild cities. He even said, this brought tears to my eyes. He said the U.S. dollar must be kept as the world's reserve currency. He wants that. That's part of America first. Now, you know, you believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I know you memorized Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. I mean, this is powerful stuff. Success is the best way to unify the country.
Yes, freedom and success, open markets, free markets, all those things that we had under President Trump. But yeah, the great point you made. Think about the last 10 days. We had President Trump's amazing debate performance a week ago Thursday, and then we had those three big decisions. The one you referenced, the Chevron decision, the Fisher decision, but both of those saying, hey, Congress writes the laws, not some prosecutor who thinks he can do anything, and not some regulatory agency in the Chevron case. And then, of course, we had the decision on presidential immunity. That all happened in the last 10 days. Amazing 10 days for the country and for President Trump.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's going to drive this election, not the Biden follies. Couldn't agree more. Chairman Jim Jordan, as always, sir, thank you for visiting with us. I'm going to see you in Milwaukee. Yes, sir.
I'll look forward to it. Take care.
All right.